In October 2023, 39-year-old mother of two, Irina Garcia, was brutally killed in her bed. She was stabbed dozens of times in an attack so malicious that it was assumed to be an act of passion. But the only suspect in the case, Irina's 13-year-old son, had no motive. No one could point to any sign that the teen was aggressive or capable of violence. And so, even in the face of mounting evidence, new theories are emerging. Ones that argue that the minor currently indicted for this heinous crime is in fact innocent. Hi there, I'm Kevin and welcome to Just Thought Lounge. Today's case has captured the attention of many around the world. It's a crime so horrific that it's hard to comprehend the details. It may be for this reason that movements supporting both sides of the case have emerged. Petitions garnering thousands of signatures and tens of thousands of dollars raised for legal costs. All the while, protests take place outside of the courtroom. This is the case of Derek Rosa. Let's take a look. At around 10 p.m. on October 12, 2023, Irina Garcia crawled into her bed at the Amelia Oaks apartment complex in Hialeah, Florida. She was recovering from a cesarean section performed just 2 weeks earlier on September 29th, when she welcomed a baby daughter. The baby was named Ashley. Irina was also mother to one son, 13-year-old Derek Rosa. Irina shared the newborn with her husband, Frank Ramos, who had also assumed the role of stepfather to Derek. That night, Frank was not at home, telling family that he was somewhere in Georgia. He was a truck driver and away on a job. As Irina settled in and nursed the baby, the night was winding down. By all outward indications, it had been a quiet evening. A doorbell camera captured Derek coming and going from the home earlier at around 8 p.m. The two had a brief exchange at the doorway in Spanish. Irina calmly told her son not to run out the door, and he agreed. Irina was captured briefly holding the baby while seated on a chair just inside the doorway. By 10 p.m. that night, Derek also went to bed. Exactly what transpired over the following hour and a half is unclear. But at just past 11:30, Derek placed a call to 911.
Can you bring the police over here where I live?
What is your address?
I don't know my address.
Derek explained that his mother had been stabbed. The knife, he said, was in his room. When directly asked, he told the operator that he had killed his mother.
Are you by yourself with your mom?
Yeah, no, my baby sister's here too. She's sleeping.
I need to know if your mom is breathing.
She's dead, miss.
Okay, and what did you do then?
There's blood all over the floor.
I need to know that you don't have any guns or any knives with you.
There's a knife in my room and there's a gun in the living room.
Okay, I need you to stay away from them. Can you put them in a safe place away from where the officers can see them? I need to know, do you think we can help your mom?
Miss, she's dead.
The eighth grader told the operator that he was searching through his mother's drawers for a letter that contained their address. When he eventually found one, he struggled to read it.
I need you to give me the address. Can you give me the address?
Yes. I'll go to my mom's and I'll try to find it in the drawer.
Okay.
Someone's calling my mom. What do I do?
Don't pick up. I need you to give me your address. That's what I need.
Okay. I'll try to find it. Wait.
Eventually, emergency services received the complete address of the unit at Amelia Oaks. Meanwhile, still on the phone, Derek offered unsolicited and extremely disturbing commentary.
I have more family members. They can take care of my sister.
I understand. Your sister will be in good hands, okay? Let's just worry about you now.
Okay. I took pictures and I told my friends about it. Was that bad?
You told who about it?
My friends.
Your friends? Did you send pictures to your friends of what you did?
Yeah.
Derek watched law enforcement enter the complex before retreating back inside the apartment as instructed.
What do you mean? They're already here?
Do not go.
I see officers. Do I leave?
No, do not leave. Do not leave. Stay there where you are in your apartment. I'm going to tell you when you can come out, okay? Do not have anything in your hand, okay?
I'm going to stay in my living room.
Stay in your living room. Only have your cell phone, okay? Stay with me on the line.
Okay, ma'am.
When told by police, the 13-year-old exited his home and was promptly handcuffed and taken into custody.
Howdy, police!
Come on.
Hands up!
Come on, get him.
Hands up!
Come here, come on.
Hands up!
Get in the ground, get in the ground. Go, 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 go. Slow, slow, slow. Go, 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 go.
No.
The son is in custody. Any knife?
There's a knife in my room.
The knife is in the room!
There's a baby.
How's the baby? Did you do anything to the fucking baby?
No, I did not touch the baby.
Come on. Leave him there, leave him there, leave him there.
Sit over here.
Leave him there.
Sit.
Face down, face down.
Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. All the way down. Face down. He's full of blood.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Why, bro? Fucking shit.
No question.
Inside the apartment in the bedroom to the right side of the hallway, Irina Garcia was found dead in a bloody scene. The mother of two was face down on the floor between the end of her bed and a large chest of drawers. In the baby's crib, Ashley still lay sleeping. She was unharmed. Officers promptly carried the child from the apartment. A search warrant would be obtained for the home, but in the meantime, certain facts were obvious. Irina had been the victim of a brutal attack. She had likely been lying in bed, sleeping, when it began. She had been stabbed multiple times. A bloody knife was sitting out. It was over a foot in length and had a purple handle, a match to the set found in the apartment kitchen. The weapon had been left on top of the chest of drawers, in Derek's bedroom. Irina's mother, Isabel, accompanied by one of her grandsons, arrived on scene. They frantically tried to reach Irina inside the apartment, but were physically restrained from entering the crime scene. Distraught and receiving no details from law enforcement, Isabel was eventually placed in a cruiser to speak with police. Prompted by the detective, Isabel began by explaining how her son, Derek's uncle, also a truck driver, had urgently called her to rush to Irina's home. He explained that Frank, Irina's partner, had watched police arrive and arrest Derek through the apartment's ring camera. Isabel attempted to reach Irina after receiving the call from her son around 11:47, but Irina did not answer.
El esposo de mi hija, que también es camionero, vio por la cámara que ellos tienen en la puerta los policías y que estaban esposando.
Next, the grandmother was asked about Derek. Did he have any existing mental health issues? Had he shown any signs of aggression or perhaps depression? He is a good boy, she said. She described her grandson as intelligent. He was on the honor roll.
¿Él tiene algún problema de agresión, algún problema de depresión? Que usted sepa, no.
No. Sí, yo.
He had no issues with his new sister that she was aware of. Just a normal boy, she said.
¿Cómo estaba Derek con la baby nueva?
Feliz con su hermanita.
Sí, ok.
Feliz.
As the interview concluded, the detective inquired why Frank had not contacted Isabel directly to warn her of the situation, instead relying on Derek's uncle. I don't know, Isabel replied. The grandmother may not have witnessed any outward signs of distress in the family, but there may have been reason for concern. Although Frank had played the role of Derek's stepfather and husband to Irina, it seems that he could not have been in a legal sense. That is because he already had a wife, as well as daughters, in Cuba. His relationship with Irina was an extramarital affair. Whether Derek was privy to this situation is unclear, nor is it known how exactly the young teen felt about his family in general. Derek was transported to the Hialeah Homicide Office and left to wait the arrival of detectives. After transporting Derek to a holding cell, law enforcement continued their work at the scene, where they had obtained a search warrant for the home. An observer without knowledge of what had occurred inside would have been forgiven for initially seeing no signs of anything amiss. It was a clean, organized, and generally well-kept home. Baby accessories were positioned throughout the living room and into the open-plan kitchen. A bassinet for the newborn sat on the sofa. A nail stand sat against one wall, where clients of Irina's would have had their manicures and pedicures done. This portion of the home was mostly in order, if a bit full of items needed for the baby. Though, upon closer inspection, there were chilling clues that a murder had taken place. A handgun was left sitting on the sofa. The sleeve to a large kitchen knife sat out on the kitchen counter. On the tiled floor, small smears of what appeared to be blood left a trail from the living room, down the hallway, and towards the bedrooms. From the doorway of the master bedroom, a similar red substance had pooled. Cases for 2 handguns sat open on the bed, the guns taken into other rooms. There was evidence of Derek rifling through drawers, paperwork, and letters, searching for his address. There was also a notable trail from the master bedroom to the ensuite bathroom. To some extent, there had been a cleanup, though it was extremely limited. The bedroom at the end of the hall contained many of the hallmarks of a 13-year-old boy's room. Toys were sitting out, including a stuffed teddy bear on the chest of drawers. Cartoonish sketches decorated the walls. A badge reading Big Bro was pinned to the mirror, and an honor certificate for Derek Rosa from iMatter Academy, a local middle school, was framed proudly next to the bed. On the comforter, investigators recovered loose bullets, and the bedspread was lightly stained with what they assumed was blood. Then there was the knife. Closer inspection of its tip showed that it was broken. A piece matching the broken tip would later be recovered during the autopsy. The medical examiner concluded that Irina had been stabbed a total of 46 times. She had sustained injuries to her front and back. The wounds to her chest were thought most likely to have been fatal. There were also signs that Irina fought back. There were defensive wounds on her hands.
There, come over here, there. Have a seat right there for me, please, if you can.
Derek Rosa was placed in an interview room with 2 detectives. The 13-year-old was given his Miranda warnings, and he waived his right to an attorney. Detective Joseph Arasagi of the Hialeah PD would later testify that he was confident that the young teen understood these rights as explained to him and was not continuing to speak with him under any duress. Perhaps predictably, that assertion would later come under scrutiny. Nonetheless, Derek did speak openly with detectives, and what he said was deeply disturbing.
So you went to sleep around 10?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what?
I woke up and I went to the kitchen. I grabbed one of the kitchen knives and then I went to our room and then I
It's okay, you can say it.
killed her.
You killed her? Alright. What type of knife was it, do you know?
It was just a big size kitchen knife.
That big?
Yeah.
What color was the handle?
Purple.
Purple?
Yes.
Okay. Your mom was sleeping?
Yeah, she was sleeping.
Okay.
Derek explained that after killing his mother, he took photos of her. Then he texted a friend of his and told him what he had just done.
How many friends did you call?
Only one.
What's his name?
I don't know his real name. He's an online friend.
He's an online friend?
Yeah.
When you say online friend, what do you mean, from video games?
Yes, from video games. I know him real well.
Okay. How long have you known him?
Since like I was 10. 3 years.
3 years?
3
Have you ever met him?
No, I've seen his face.
You seen his face?
Yeah.
So how did you communicate with him?
My cell phone.
Through your cell phone, so you have his number?
Yes.
And you don't have him stored under a certain name, or you have him stored under a gamer tag?
I made up a name for him.
You made up a name for him?
Yeah.
What name did you make up from?
Sweden.
Sweden?
Sweden. SWEEDEN.
Okay. How often do you talk to Sweden?
Every weekend.
Every weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. So you called Sweden. And what did you tell Sweden?
So then what I did?
What exactly did you tell Sweden when you say what I did?
I killed my mom.
Derek admitted to sending Sweden 3 photos, 2 of his mother, which showed what he had done to her, and 1 of himself. In that selfie, he posed joyfully with one slightly bloodied raised hand. Sweden's real identity, if it has been determined, has not been made public. Derek's cell phone, as well as an iPad and laptop, were taken from the scene. Because much of his correspondence was with other minors, many details of the communication from these devices have not been made public. His search history, however, has been. The most recent typed searches into Google on the 13-year-old's phone began at 6 p.m. on the evening of the murder. The history showed searches for: what is the best place to stab someone? The carotid artery image diagram. Is a small knife good for killing? Is it easier to kill someone with a small knife? Can a small knife cut through bone? And finally, image of machine gun. Derek told detectives that the next thing he did after the stabbing was access his stepfather's 2 handguns, removing them from their cases and loading them. After doing so, he said he didn't want to use one, presumably on himself, and so instead, he set them aside and called 911.
At first, I cut her right here.
And her neck?
It's like a type of vein that goes through your neck right here on both sides. And if
Okay.
you stab here, a lot of blood sprays out, right?
Do you know what that's called?
Like an artery or something.
An artery?
Yeah.
Okay.
The interview ended after Derek was asked the one question he seemed unwilling to answer. Why did he kill his mother?
So you were about to tell me the why. Why did you kill your mother? Do you know?
Do I have to say it now?
Yeah, get it off your chest. Absolutely.
You can wait for a lawyer.
Okay, at this point, you want a lawyer?
Maybe not.
We can't. No, listen. Just so you understand, okay? You have mentioned or asked us, should you wait for a lawyer? We're not here to advise you on whether to talk to a lawyer or not. That decision is yours, okay? But if you are requesting a lawyer at this point, we can't interview you any further. You understand? We have to stop the interview.
Okay.
Do you want us to stop the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
If investigators still had any doubt as to who was responsible for Irina Garcia's brutal stabbing, it was dispelled when police accessed the data on Ashley's baby monitor. Placed just in front of the crib, images from the monitor also captured the side of Irina's bed. These showed a tender moment between mother and daughter at 10:20. Then, a second image, captured less than an hour later, showed a figure who resembled Derek Rosa leaning over his sleeping mother. Derek Rosa was first charged with second-degree murder and indicted as an adult by a Miami-Dade grand jury. The charges were later updated to first-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty. The 8th grade honor roll student is being held in the juvenile section of an adult facility as he awaits trial. The evidence against him appears overwhelming. Although the 911 call audio was redacted, Derek reportedly confessed to the murder on that call. Then, of course, he admitted to killing his mother again a few hours later to detectives. No one else was thought to be in the home that night, aside from his 2-week-old sister. Police found bloodstains on his clothing. The data on his phone suggests he was contemplating and planning out the attack hours earlier. Yet, his grandmother, other family members, as well as a growing number of outspoken supporters, have coalesced around one central assertion: that Derek Rosa is innocent. At a hearing in April 2025, Derek's family was joined by more than 50 supporters who traveled to the courthouse from across the country. Many packed the courtroom to listen to the judge and attorneys address the case, and afterwards chanted outside of the building. They came wearing shirts adorned with his portrait and the phrase, "Free Derek," declaring themselves just a small fraction of his national and international support. At one point, several Miami-Dade police officers warned the crowd that they needed to back away from the entrance and stand on the sidewalks. These activists have attended nearly every hearing, firmly maintaining that the team is not responsible.
I am here along with all these moms right here next to me, okay? So we're not affiliated with any source. We're here by our own selves, voluntary. We're here to support Derek Rosa's case. We want Derek Rosa's freedom. We don't want Derek Rosa's rights to be violated any longer. His constitutional rights is being violated as well. We want Derek Rosa's freedom. We want justice for Irina Garcia. We want the real person who committed this passion crime to be charged fully. Derek Rosa did not do it. He's a child.
I'm here because I believe in Derek's innocence. And I like to see him free. I like to see justice for Irina. And this child, Derek Rosa, I know, I believe in his innocence.
The movement is most visible on TikTok, where a growing number of primarily Spanish-speaking women post videos criticizing Derek's treatment. Some claim a conspiracy has been mounted against him.
Derek Rosa es completamente inocente. Derek Rosa es inocente.
I believe that he is innocent of all charges. He is a child. He can easily be manipulated by an adult. I believe there was more than one person in that scene. We hear noises in the background of the 911 call. I strongly believe that he's innocent and he was manipulated by someone else around that scene.
An obvious point of contention is Derek's confession. At a preliminary hearing, Detective Arosagi defended the decision to question the 13-year-old without a lawyer or any adult present. He testified that Derek acknowledged that he was an A student and that he could read. He was confident that his comprehension was sound. But Derek's supporters say that nothing that the young man stated in the interview can be trusted. He was escorted to the homicide office by armed officers and interviewed by armed detectives, they say. This would have been intimidating, particularly after experiencing the trauma of losing his mother. There have been no direct accusations of mistreatment, but to offer transparency, footage showing his arrest and treatment in custody has been released by the Hialeah PD. This includes the period he was held in the back of the cruiser on scene, and his transit to the station right up to the moment that he sat down with Hialeah detectives. But there are questions surrounding his decision to waive his rights. In the interview room, he could not provide his address or telephone number. He told detectives that he did not have initials. He could not read or define the word coercion, and he did not know what an attorney was.
Derek, come over here, Derek. Have a seat right there for me, please, if you can.
Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights.
Okay, you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and initial this little dot for me. It means that you understand that. Yeah, just your initials.
I don't have initials. I just write my name.
Okay. Whatever.
What's your name?
Right here.
You have the right to remain silent.
Okay. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, write your name again if you understand that.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have the lawyer present with you during the questioning.
Okay, you understand that? Go ahead and
I am willing to make this statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I'm doing. No promises or threats have been made to me. No pressure or
coercion. That's that we're forcing you to do something.
Okay.
You understand? Whatever you're doing on your own voluntarily basis, making an educated decision for yourself, okay?
Okay.
Keep on. And if you want a chance to explain yourself, the only way that we would be able to take your statement is if you agree to talk to us without the presence of an attorney. If you do, go ahead and sign right here.
What's an attorney?
An attorney is someone that can represent you in legal matters. Okay?
You know what a lawyer is?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. By you signing that, you're wanting to give us a statement without the presence of a lawyer. You understand that?
Yes.
Is that your wish?
Yes, my wish.
Okay.
What's your address?
I don't know my address.
Okay. What's your telephone number? You don't know it either?
No.
Okay. What type of phone?
In June 2025, during a hearing in Miami-Dade's criminal court, defense attorneys argued that the confession was obtained without Derek fully understanding his constitutional rights. They claim he was unaware of the implications of speaking to detectives without a lawyer present, which they argue is a serious violation of his procedural rights. They are seeking to have the confession removed as evidence at trial. Derek is being represented pro bono by defense attorney Jose Baez, whose clientele includes Casey Anthony and Harvey Weinstein.
Hello, my name is attorney Jose Baez, and I'm the lead defense attorney for Derek Rosa. Derek would like to thank everyone for all of their well wishes and interest in his case. This has been an incredibly difficult time for both Derek and his family, and we would like to take this time to thank everyone for their prayers. Having said that, Derek faces a long fight ahead, and many people have offered to assist in his defense. And I'd like to inform you that we are currently working on setting up a defense fund on behalf of Derek that will be managed by a third-party attorney in their trust account to assist in his defense. Now, when I say to assist in his defense, I'm referring strictly to costs that may be involved. And the reason for that is that this is a case that my law firm is taking on pro bono. We have not taken one penny from the Rosa family or Derek or anyone else to represent him. We're doing this because this is a fight and a cause that we believe in. And it is a principle that the Baez law firm stands firmly behind.
When the Fundly page was shared by Derek's legal team, it had already accumulated over $23,000 in donations, with a stated goal of $100,000. The page is no longer active and displays only a thank you note to those that contributed. They reportedly raised over $140,000. A petition supporting Derek Rosa's release has garnered over 43,000 signatures. Conversely, a Change.org petition calling for Derek to be tried to the full extent of the law in the interest of justice for Irina has only earned just over 1,000 signatures. There are two potential directions that his defense could take. The first is mental illness, and the second that another suspect is actually responsible for the murder. Defense attorneys have pointed to Derek's diagnosis of ADHD in 3rd grade, followed by a subsequent diagnosis of autism years later. It is uncertain, they say, to what extent these conditions influenced the teen's behavior. More time has been requested before trial for qualified psychiatrists to meet with Derek for multiple sessions over an extended period of time.
Prosecutors questioned Rosa's attorneys if they plan to bring in mental health experts as witnesses. Rosa's attorneys said they weren't ready to provide details on that. The topic of mental health caught the judge by surprise and told Rosa's attorneys if they plan to raise insanity in trial, they need to let the court know as soon as possible.
Further complicating an already complex case, defense attorneys have recently posited an alternative theory of the crime, one that suggests another suspect may have been present at the scene. That person, they suggest, is Derek's stepfather, Frank Ramos. This theory emerged after Facebook messages, as well as a recorded conversation between Frank and an undisclosed female, allegedly included details of the crime that the defense says only the killer would know. In the messages, Frank allegedly wrote about Irina's precise reaction to the killer, what her movements were upon getting out of bed. They spoke of her cry for help, the struggle with the attacker, and the spot where she ultimately collapsed. The stepfather does not claim to have received details from Derek Rosa. He says that he invented them based on his observations of the crime scene. To this, the defense points to Frank's lack of expertise. He is neither an expert in blood spatter nor experienced in observing, processing, or handling crime scenes. How could he have deduced such a detailed and descriptive timeline of the murder? According to Baez, the level of detail in Frank's descriptions suggests he might have actually been there, or somehow witnessed the murder. Obviously, Frank and the state prosecution dispute this assertion. Indeed, Derek offered his stepfather an alibi more than once on the night of the murder, first on the 911 call, then in his interview.
Okay, go ahead with his name.
It's Frank Ramos. No, he's a truck driver, and he's driving trucks far away. And my stepdad's calling me. Do I answer?
No, stay with me on the line until the officers get there, okay? I'm sending you help.
And since he's a truck driver, he wasn't at home, he was far away.
Okay.
So I went into the closet. I found his book bag because he goes shooting at gun ranges.
Okay.
I grabbed the gun.
Baez's team are attempting to dismantle Frank's alibi. They have requested his work records to verify or disprove his assertion that he was in Georgia at the time of the murder. They have also requested a second interview with a coworker who could cast doubt on his alibi. That coworker had reportedly been previously hesitant to confirm that a trailer exchange had taken place between the two. In response, the prosecution has stated that GPS and other evidence confirm Frank was traveling on I-95 and eventually reached Georgia while the murder took place. Online, suspicion towards Frank has been brewing since Derek's arrest. Most of the accusations stem from the stepfather's alleged motive to have his second wife or partner in America killed in order to be with his other family in Cuba. These rumors were inflamed after Derek's defense team pointed to records showing that Frank made a curious purchase 1 month after Irina's death. They say he bought 3 plane tickets from Cuba to Florida. Presumably, he was arranging to bring his family to visit or to join him. Then, only weeks later, photos posted online allegedly showed his Cuban wife holding baby Ashley. At a recent hearing, Derek's defense team asserted that images already released to the public are biasing the jury pool by positing a narrative that has not been established. For example, has it been proven that the image from the baby monitor of a male figure leaning over Irina in bed was in fact Derek Rosa? If so, was that photo from the exact time when the murder took place? To the speculation that he was involved in Irina's murder, Frank has stated, "I don't have to explain myself. The prosecution is handling all of this." And he insists that he too is a victim in this case. Derek Rosa, now 14, is currently being held at the Metro West Detention Center, an adult facility, awaiting trial for first-degree murder. Tentative dates to begin trial have been set and repeatedly pushed back. Multiple attempts to have Derek transferred to a juvenile facility have failed. At the time of publication, Derek's next hearing is scheduled for July 2025, and the trial is to commence in September. His many supporters will no doubt be there for him. And that was the tragic murder of Irina Garcia and the arrest of her son, Derek Rosa. Many thanks for watching and supporting our channel, and a special thank you this week to Sharon, Maria Connor, Gloria Engelson, and Stephanie Parmelo for joining our Members Lounge. Your extra support goes a long way. I'm Kevin, this is Just Thought Lounge, and I'll see you in the next one.
Pick it a litter, you see how Newton got his back. Yeah, the content that you need, this could be a new sign. We talking in the comments, they jotting a few lines. Tune in and hit like, love that, it's too kind. Feels like the whole world is online for true crime. Watch them on a run, but it's not a race. Really hard to disappear, poof without a trace. Sherlock Holmes with it, I put you in your place. Got my smoking pipe, only right, I crack another case like